Scaling an online storefront often creates a massive paradox. Rapid business growth inevitably fractures the underlying technical infrastructure. Traditional all-in-one e-commerce platforms force a difficult compromise. You generally have to choose between granular control over your front-end design or robust, heavy-duty operational power on the back end. High-volume fashion brands and dropshipping operations run into this ceiling quickly. They build visually striking sites to attract buyers, but those same sites lack the complex inventory capabilities needed to handle sudden spikes in demand. The solution to this structural limit is a modular, decoupled architecture, widely known in the industry as a headless light approach. This approach physically separates the presentation layer, the storefront your customer sees, from the underlying commerce engine that keeps the business running. In this specific model, we utilize two distinct platforms. Wix acts as the dedicated presentation layer, and Shopify operates as the isolated backend engine. We are going to map the precise architecture of this hybrid system to see how integrating these two platforms automates data flow and secures high-volume financial transactions. Decoupling these systems allows an operation to scale its transaction volume exponentially without triggering a proportional explosion in manual operational overhead. Let's look exclusively at the first component of this architecture, the presentation layer. Wix's primary technical function in this setup is removing coding friction from UI and UX design. It accomplishes this through a highly intuitive drag-and-drop website builder. By eliminating complex code, marketing teams can rapidly iterate on brand identity and adjust storefront aesthetics. They can project a highly polished image without waiting on engineering bottlenecks. Because modern e-commerce browsing happens overwhelmingly on smartphones, ensuring absolute mobile responsiveness is a strict requirement for this layer. The secondary function of this front-end system is technical search engine optimization. Using built-in SEO tools ensures the store is correctly indexed. This improves organic visibility in search results, driving initial top-of-funnel traffic before relying on paid ad spend. Treating the front end as an independent, optimized layer removes technical barriers to conversion, allowing the site's search visibility and brand design to perform at their full capacity. Once the front end acquires that user, the system requires an entirely different set of tools to handle complex commerce logic. This is where Shopify comes in. It operates as the isolated commerce engine, strictly responsible for managing product listings, categories, and the core inventory interface. How do we inject back-end logic into our front end without creating a rigid monolith? The mechanism is the Shopify Buy button, a localized bridge. Complex inventory variables like sizes, colors, and dynamic pricing stream continuously across this bridge to the user interface. The operational benefit of this data bridge is immediate. It enables automatic, real-time inventory synchronization. When an item sells out, the front end knows instantly. Keeping catalog management centralized inside the Shopify engine also simplifies operations, allowing the business to easily expand into multi-channel selling. By relying on this bridge, a business centralizes the heavy lifting of product management while retaining the absolute creative freedom of the Wix presentation layer. Now we move to the point of sale, examining what mathematically happens when a purchase initiates. A rapid, invisible transfer of highly sensitive financial data is required, the exact millisecond the buy button is clicked. The system must immediately route this purchase intent out of the Shopify engine and direct it into dedicated financial pipelines. Processing is handled by third-party payment gateways like Stripe, PayPal, or Razorpay. Inside the gateway, the system runs automated fraud prevention, analyzing the packet for anomalies before confirming the transaction. This process guarantees PCI compliance, which is a strict, non-negotiable standard required by the payment card industry to protect sensitive cardholder data from interception. Automating these secure financial pipelines ensures that high-volume transaction data remains protected, establishing the technical reliability required to maintain long-term customer trust. With the transaction secure, the system hands the data off to post-transaction logistics and fulfillment. By integrating dedicated shipping APIs, the architecture automates the complex process of generating real-time shipping calculations, even for international users. The system instantly generates automated invoices and pushes dynamic delivery updates to the customer. Operating this interconnected web of APIs requires an overarching layer of infrastructure optimization to ensure security. This protective border relies on two main components: SSL certificates that enforce end-to-end data encryption, and a content delivery network, or CDN, which handles global speed optimization. The final node required for a modern business to thrive is a continuous data feedback loop, typically driven by Google Analytics integration. Tracking user behavior across the site and utilizing heat maps provides operators with precise, quantitative insights into how customers interact with the interface. Marketing teams analyze reports, adjusting their front-end design and promotional strategies to steadily improve conversion rates. The combination of automated fulfillment and continuous analytical data provides the necessary infrastructure for teams to execute targeted, data-driven optimizations across the store. Running a decoupled architecture does introduce operational realities. It is not entirely free of administrative hurdles. An operator must actively manage specific friction points. Plugin compatibility issues will arise, API rate restrictions require monitoring, and shipping complexities need human oversight. However, even with these required maintenance tasks, the decoupled architecture decisively solves the core scalability bottlenecks that choke a monolithic platform. Looking forward, this modular setup serves as the technical groundwork for true headless commerce. Keeping the presentation layer separate from the database lets businesses seamlessly plug in emerging technologies, like AI personalization, voice commerce, or AR shopping, without rebuilding core infrastructure. Adopting these highly scalable digital commerce strategies today is the only reliable way to remain competitive in a rapidly evolving market. Integrating Wix and Shopify platforms establishes an adaptable digital business ecosystem engineered explicitly for tomorrow's evolving retail landscape.